What? You're not scared of a floating, disembodied head?
I hate to kill the whole thing you're going for here, but you're not really the first disembodied floating head that I've seen.
But what if I told you I was one of your great ancestors?
Yep, been there, done that.
Huh. So there's nothing I can do to scare you. Not even boo! Oh well, I might as well give up unless this is scary to you?
The Luigi's Mansion series is one of Nintendo's most slept-on titles in my opinion. The way they seamlessly blend puzzle solving, ghost hunting, and spooky aesthetics, oh, they're just wonderful. Each of which being absolutely stunning on their respective consoles. Minus this slideshow. While the series has developed into more of a puzzle-based adventure over time, combat is still a very important part of these games. At first glance, you'd assume all you really do is suck up ghosts in a vacuum. And while yeah, that's the case, it's actually developed quite a lot over time. But before we look at that, let's jump all the way back to 2001 where it all started. There's just something special about the first Luigi's Mansion. There's an eerie charm as Luigi haunts the halls of his mansion that he won from a contest he never even entered. Who can forget the many dust particles flying around the house and the overall sense of dread because this game was a launch title on a console that didn't sell too well, and therefore this game itself didn't sell too well at launch because people were expecting a brand new 3D Mario, not a scared little brother cleaning an empty home. And who can forget everyone's favorite egad? But as you go from room to room, there's still some pretty minor puzzles you have to solve, most of which come from the portrait ghosts. The fun to Luigi's Mansion 1 is finding out each enemy's weakness and exploiting that to shove them in the vacuum to never be seen again. And honestly, that's where this game shines, because we all know it's not the awful boo backtracking. But at the heart of all those boss battles is the poltergust. While it may be the most primitive of Luigi's ghost hunting tools, it still packs quite a punch. This bad boy is the key to combat here. Luigi uses its built-in flashlight to expose the ghost's heart. Once exposed, Luigi can suck that soul and shove it deeper in the vacuum than my feelings after last year's family Thanksgiving. So many unemployment jokes. Anywho, once latched onto a ghost, you must slam the control stick in the opposite direction to then drain the ghost's health. This honestly is really fun. There's always a loose feeling when fighting these ghosts. It truly feels like you're doing this for the first time and you were just shoved into it, kind of like how Luigi was. There's a genuine struggle when trying to catch these guys, and it makes the adventure feel a lot more natural. While down the line you can mix things up with fire, ice, and water abilities, at the end of the day, ghost hunting was an extremely solid foundation in Luigi's Mansion 1. And then we went portable. Ew! The second game in the series has Luigi hunting through 5 different mansions in a much more streamlined and mission-based game. While for a while there, this was a pretty controversial game. I think nowadays people have looked past that and realized it's just as solid as the other two. The art style may be a bit more goofy, but Luigi's more expressive than ever. But this go around, the poltergust got an upgrade. Now this thing can stun the ghost with the strobe bulb. This emits a bright flash of light, literally stunning the color out of the ghost for a couple seconds. And unlike the first one where you had an incredibly precise window when you can stun those ghosts, you get a little bit of leeway now. And I think that's nice. Following that, you latch on much tighter to the ghosts when you really start getting to business. While latched on, you charge up this meter. Once fully charged, you can send a pulse to the ghost, draining a big chunk of their health. Through the game, you can also upgrade that pulse and become more and more powerful. But if a room gets too packed or a ghost is prepared to screw you up, you can jump this time. Only to balance that out, jumping does remove the pulse that you've charged up. Say what you want, but I think this is a big step up from the original. While it doesn't overcomplicate things, it adds just a smidge of abilities, and that little detail makes it feel a lot more fluent. Too bad the bosses in this one were kinda lacking. And finally we have Luigi's Mansion 3. Hotel, ghosts, you get the setup. Let's get to that shiny new poltergust. I mean, it can shoot plungers, it can use the dark light just like in Luigi's Mansion 2, and it has Gooigi. All of this is great and all, but how does it perform during combat? Now, I love Luigi's Mansion 3. It's probably the prettiest game on the Nintendo Switch if you ask me. It's packed with goofy characters and cutscenes, the puzzles are some of the best in the series, but then there's the combat. I'm not gonna say it's necessarily bad, but I'm gonna be 100% honest here. It is my least favorite of the 3. Hear me out. The challenge is basically non-existent here. All thanks to the slam mechanic. Just like in 2, you can now build up a meter, only once you fill this meter, you can slam that ghost onto the ground. Once you get the hang of it, you can do that until the ghost just dies. And to go with that, the chase of pulling the ghost is basically non-existent. With the strobe bulb returning, once you latch onto the ghost, this time you actually latch onto them, making the thrill of the hunt basically non-existent. Each fight boils down to building up your slam mechanic just to kill all ghosts in a 5-foot radius. Again, it's not bad, but it emphasizes that combat wasn't really the main focus here. 3 is much more about its puzzle solving, which really isn't a bad thing. Comparing all 3 of the base game combat, I think Luigi's Mansion 2 probably does it best. It feels almost as rewarding as it does in the first game, while also adding an extra layer of depth. And trust me, this is not me saying 1 and 3's combat system is bad, it's just I think 2 does an excellent job of combining all 3 games into one perfect combo. And not to mention this game's upgrade system actually giving a meaning to the coins that you're collecting, not just an endgame rank. Each game has their strengths in this department, and I won't lie, it's incredibly satisfying to slam ghosts into their friends like in Luigi's Mansion 3, and 1's mechanics just felt so good for the time. I just think, especially in things like Scarescraper, 2 really does take the cake.
And I'll be honest, hearing somebody say that Luigi's Mansion 2 did something better than the other ones in this series is probably the scariest opinion you've heard all year. Or is it? Because this is my favorite Paper Mario game.